Welcome back to the Go Deeper podcast. We're going to probably make this a little bit spicy today. One of our most, what I would say, like interacted with or just what made people engaged was when we talked about sex and marriage. So today we're probably going to talk about one of the next spiciest topics is finances and marriage. And I think it's a struggle for most people. I think so many people were just not brought up to think of finances in a positive light. And then I think we can bring, what do they call, you bring your baggage to the relationship and maybe your unhealthy view or understanding or spending or debt to a relationship. And it can make a relationship start out on the wrong foot.
Agreed.
We both grew up, my parents were very, very young. You know, they had financial discussions quite often. You know, they grew up with probably very little with 3 little kids. My dad was like master of a spreadsheet and a budget. And my mom was like, I'm going to give these girls whatever they want and I'll figure out how to pay for it.
Still does.
Yeah. We would hide Abercrombie bags and we'd be like, when dad goes somewhere, we're going to sneak these into the house. But it's like, you shouldn't have to live that way.
No, that was bad.
And
it caused bitterness for your family.
It definitely. But we've all lived in some sort of environment that made us feel that way.
Absolutely.
Or the husband works, the wife doesn't. She has to ask for money. Lord, that makes me cringe even saying that out loud.
Well, and that makes either one of them feel a certain way.
Yeah.
The husband probably gets sick of it. The wife don't want to ask, but she has no choice to ask.
Money can be very evil.
Yeah.
And whether you have a lot of it or not a lot, it can be evil. It doesn't really matter. It's the relationship and the knowledge around money that can make you have healthy conversations with your spouse about it.
I also don't think it matters how much money, meaning you can have a lot or a little, but depending upon how you're spending it. If you have a lot and you have 6 Lamborghinis in the garage and a Rolls Royce and a Duramax
or spending
truck
habit or gambling habit.
You're spending more than you're making. It's all relative.
And this may be, everybody's going to have a difference of opinion, right?
Sure.
I don't want anybody to attack us based upon what our opinions are. I'm not going to attack you based upon how you live and what your opinions are. There's so many husbands and wives that have separate bank accounts and live very untrusting, untransparent lives.
I mean, we've heard people before they buy separate groceries. They buy separate everything. I guess I was just raised like, my parents, same thing, young, didn't have a lot of money growing up. But dad always took care of the bills. Mom bought the food. So they just separated expenses. But I definitely think it's unhealthy in the sense of, I think there needs to be clear communication of maybe who's paying for what, how we're doing it. That way there's no bitterness, resentfulness. But I definitely think that communication is key on the finances, but also anything like small, we don't really discuss. Meaning like if you go spend $100 today, like we don't talk about that. But on anything big, we've always talked about it.
I think anytime you're hiding something, it invites an unhealthy lack of trust into the relationship. Mm-hmm. You should always, and we'll be transparent, we have separate accounts at the same bank that we both have full, like you can log into your login and see everything. I can log into my login and see everything.
Let's talk about that for a second. Because honestly, from an entrepreneurial standpoint,
we have to.
We almost have to.
Yeah, we have to business.
It's not that
it doesn't.
But we have other joint accounts.
Yeah.
That are for future things that is like.
Our wealth isn't a joint account growing. Our everyday cash flow needs to be separate just for business reasons.
Correct.
But like you have business accounts and we have personal accounts and we fully see everything. You see what I spend. I see what you spend. We don't even have arguments about it.
I don't think I've ever clicked on your account to see what you spend. I don't want to know.
We don't question it.
I know. No.
I don't have to ask for permission.
No.
We have clear communication boundaries on if we're going to do something big, we talk about it. Mm-hmm. Does it align with where our family wants to go? Does it make sense? What's the return on investment in it? We have high level conversations about it. We don't get bitter. He comes to me and says, can I spend X amount on X? Does it make sense? Is it going to give us a good ROI? Is it going to give us time back? Is it going to give us something for our family
Honestly,
to enjoy?
99.9%.
I always say yes.
I bust my ass. So do you.
Yep.
and I want to go buy another three-wheeler that I don't need. And your exact words, if you want it, honey, but she knows, have I bought anything like that that's never been worth more than I bought it?
No.
Because
And that's the return.
that's the return.
And that's what gives me confidence because I've seen you do it time and so now
over and
trust.
over and over.
Finances, the root of all financial arguments is the lack of trust.
Sure.
The lack of trusting in me to spend it wisely.
Sure.
And I think that that's where like the root of all husband and wife financial arguments come from.
Sure.
Is the husband gives the wife, and this is, I'm just being very just real. A lot of the times the husband's the control over the money. Not always.
No, not always.
But a majority of the time, the husband's the breadwinner. He's the majority in control of the money.
Raising the kids or
the woman's
whatever.
raising the kids and maybe making less money, and he tells her what she can spend money on.
See, I
or
don't agree with
he
that.
gives her an allowance.
Well, hang on. Since I met you, and this is just the way I was raised, and I know not everybody was raised this way, but like one thing my dad did was anytime we were going out to eat, like I don't think there's ever been a time in like that you like I allowed you to buy the stuff.
But do you remember when we first got together, I tried to buy your stuff and you'd be like, put your money away. And I was like, woman power, I'm paying for you. That's also not healthy.
No.
Like I need to empower you to be the man.
Right. Well, just the way I was raised, I looked at it like 99% of the time, because me and her will argue about it because she'll try to pull out $20. Your mother.
Yeah.
I'm like, Teresa.
That's who I learned it from.
Yeah, exactly. Because she is woman power. I hope you're watching this, Teresa. I'm like, if it's your sister, whoever, am I buying the meal?
Yeah.
It's just how I was raised. But then I see so many people that like, I'm a giver when it comes to that. It is what it is. But I see so many people, they hide those finances from the significant other. If I knew you bought a $20 item that you somehow, I felt like hid from me that you bought that item, that would piss me off more than the $20.
Right. It's the intention behind it.
Right.
And oftentimes, and this was just like something my parents embedded in my brain, in a marriage, and this is just the way to, and this may not work for everybody. I know biblically it says the man is to provide, the woman is to be, surrendering to the husband. Submissive to the husband, just as much as the husband's to be submissive to the church. I biblically know it says that. But in today's realistic world, it takes two incomes.
I agree.
Or one very, very strong income, which your eggs are all in one basket, which I also don't think that brings people peace financially when your eggs are all in one basket in today's world. But my mom and dad raised me to this. The husband you marry, I want you to still have the level of income that you could live the level of life that you're living with or without him. And that has given us, I would say, so much peace in our relationship. Because regardless, you, me, if either one of us, something were to happen to either one of us today, we could still live the same level of life.
Sure.
We don't have to ask each other unless it's big. We still don't have to ask, but we do out of respect.
Well,
we don't
talked
hide
about
things.
this, I think, on another one, and it was just nonchalant. But like nine times out of 10, we're getting cars roughly around the same time. Like, I'm getting a new car, you're getting a new car. And it's just because that's the way it normally rolls. If I'm getting a new piece of jewelry, you're getting one similar time, might be before me, right after, because I just think that's where we're aligned like that. And there's never any bitterness that like, oh, Amber, you're right now. Your car is the most expensive one we have. That's nothing wrong. I don't care. Now,
I think anytime you start stacking up, you have, or, you spend that much money. That's where like all of it comes to head.
Major problems, and you've seen this before, Amber. The husband's driving the $150,000 new SUV pickup truck, lifted up, big wheels and tires, and the wife's driving a 15-year-old $10,000 car. And look, guys, if anybody's out there listening, I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but I want people to realize that is going to make someone feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And I've had friends before that will talk about it as like, well, I work my ass off and she's not. Well, maybe
I think men punish women sometimes.
I
And
agree.
that's what like triggers me as a strong woman. If you're expecting her to stay home with the kids
Hmm.
and you're not allowing her to work because maybe her job, it doesn't make sense for her to work. It makes more sense for her financially to stay at home. You should not punish her or give her less than because she's doing that.
I
You
completely agree.
shouldn't be going out and saying those things like, well, she's staying at home. I would love for you to stay at home. There's a
Oh,
reason why I don't stay at home.
yeah.
It's hard. It's not
I was
it's
gonna say
not for
you wouldn't
me.
stay at home if
No. Absolutely not. My husband doesn't make me work. He probably would prefer I stay at
I
home
would.
and be less busy. That would never fulfill me.
I know, but our relationship wouldn't work because you would be within
I'd be
6 months you'd
unhappy.
be unfulfilled.
But I think there's so many women who are controlled by the money their husband makes
Hmm.
without even realizing it. They're controlled in their self-worth. They're controlled in what they can do. They feel like they have to hide, and vice versa. All the time, for whatever reason, our careers, we're just exposed to it. People that are struggling, maybe getting a divorce, whether it's people at the gym, people in real estate, they always have an account somewhere hiding.
I know, I don't understand that.
You're planting the worst seed ever.
I agree.
If you feel like you have to hide money for a rainy day because your spouse may leave you and take everything, you got more problems than money problems.
I have
And
enough
that's where
confidence in myself, and you know this, that if you stripped me tomorrow, could I build it back?
I know you could. That's absolutely.
It would be the
And
worst
me
thing she
too.
ever did.
Yeah. But I mean, we
But
don't even talk like that.
I know for a fact she would never do that.
Never.
First of all, I'm the father of her children. She is the mother of my kids. If I hated her tomorrow, I wouldn't want a penny from her. I'll state it on camera because what seeds are you planting? Because guess what? If I've done it to her, the next woman I meet's going to do it to me. People don't realize that's so real.
No, it comes back around.
Absolutely.
But how many people, when they start to struggle in the relationship, they hide money, but then in the divorce, they're fighting more over the money than they are the kids.
It's terrible.
And that's horrible.
So then you go spend $100,000 or
Yeah.
hundreds
Foolishly.
of thousands on lawyers. Isn't that your kids' money?
Yeah. So let's talk about what are some healthy ways. I think 2 incomes are essential in today's world.
Mhm.
One really good income, it's not a bad thing, but I think you're throwing your eggs all in one basket.
Well, let's talk about
Less
Amber
peace.
before the children a little bit. Having that second job always.
Yeah.
How many people from family to friends of ours have come and asked us advice, but they're not willing to put in the effort on the Saturday, on the Sunday, or after the 8 to 5? They're in my opinion, while you're on the bandwagon in the struggle, there's no 40-hour work week.
No, if you're trying to grow yourself and make something of yourself and you're at square zero building it, you need to take all the time that you have and utilizing to build. Like people, how are you? Where are you at? Why? How are you? How have we accomplished what we have? Because we were still making well into the 6 figures and working 7 days a week and working 2 or 3 other jobs too. That's what got us ahead quick. But we talked about it.
Well, hang on a second. To go back, okay, let's say we're making 6 figures,
Yeah.
right? So let's call it 100,000. But then we were putting every dollar back into something else, another business.
Yeah.
So
That's how you build it.
For years, we technically, if you would have saw our accounts, you would have thought that we were broke all the time. I mean, I remember getting married in 2015 and getting hit with our first real thing of big taxes and being like, we'd spent a lot of money on our
6-figure
wedding.
taxes.
We were like, I was dumbfounded. And I say that to say, a lot of times you're building businesses and net worth, but you don't actually got the physical money. A lot of very, very rich people, they're worth hundreds, let's say millions of dollars. They can't physically go get the million.
Yeah, they don't have the cash flow.
Because it's tied up.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people really don't understand the way finances work when it comes to that.
I think you need to educate yourself on finances. It's not just a cash flow game. It's a net worth building game.
Or passive income
or
game.
passive income game. And I think things that we've done that have served our relationship well is our accounts are fully exposed. We both have access to all of our accounts.
We'll talk about not even just our accounts, but even that can go to social media or anything.
Yeah.
I've never had a password on my phone.
No. So let me keep going. So our accounts are fully exposed. I implemented maybe like 5 years ago now doing a net worth tracker. And that net worth tracker allows us to have a conversation once a month of where are our bank accounts? What does our real estate value look like? What do our assets look like? What do our liabilities look like? What do our investments look like? And it allows us to have conversations about those things. There, I've embraced that in my team, and just in the work, I've done trainings on it. There are so many spouses who have no clue what accounts each other have. What do our investments look like? If you were to die tomorrow, and I see this just because of what I do in real estate, somebody else needs to know where your money is. Somebody else needs to know where your investments are. So you need to have, to me, it's in my net worth tracker. You could go to our net worth tracker right now and it'll pinpoint every account, how much is in there by September 30th. You need to be having conversations like that because otherwise you're living day to day. You're cash flowing yourself. You're not building true long-term net worth that pours into generations to come unless you're having conversations like that. But so many people don't. So many women are afraid to ask. And I hate that because more likely than not, usually the husband passes away first. And then what's she going to be left to deal with?
A nightmare.
And she has no clue where the even accounts
Or,
are.
I hate to say this, if he has a gambling problem or anything, she really needs to know that there's no money there and she's in a mess.
Well,
Because
was
me
it
and you've seen,
recently?
me
I
and
was
you've
going
seen
to
it a
say,
lot.
we had a situation around us recently where they were living from what looked like to the outside a lavish lifestyle. And she was expecting a life insurance or something to be there. And when he passed away, he left her like $1 million of debt. You should have known that before he passed away. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
you need to be having conversations with your spouse on a monthly basis, quarterly basis about your budget, about what your cash flow looks like, about what you're spending your money on, what does your net worth look like, what are your goals around that. When you can sit down and have healthy conversations and be responsible about money, your money will grow.
Well, I've bought many gyms.
Yeah.
That somebody in the family passed away and they thought the gym was killing it and they didn't have a clue that because there's other businesses that this place was bleeding money, but they wanted to keep it, let's say, for the surface value of the, like we want to make sure, we want people to think that we own that gym in town, and they're losing 25 grand a month.
And that never makes sense.
And it doesn't make sense. And I'm sitting there like, I'm on the phone and these people are pouring tears to me on the phone. And I'm like, I'm the bearer of bad news. I'm like, look, your gym's worth 80 grand or 120,000. And they thought their gym's worth $1 million. And first of all, it's worthless on a losing business.
Yeah.
No business is worth money if it's losing money. And secondly, your old equipment is not worth what you thought it's worth. Please call anyone else. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. You called me. And the sad part was it's normally because there was zero communication within the family, within the business, within the husband, wife, and tragedy can strike at any time. And I always have just wanted financial peace. If something happened to me, that she was okay.
I think one thing that we've done well as we have started to make more money, we've still lived at or way below our means. And I think where so many people go wrong is they start to make more money and they start to get into that, like, keep up with the Joneses mentality. And what they begin to do is they live a lifestyle that's much larger than their actual income. And then they're chasing their tail, trying to catch back up to really square root one. And nobody should ever have so much credit card debt that they can't pay it off by the end of every single month.
Absolutely.
If you're living like that, you are living way above your means and you need to cut your expenses. But I think so many people do that and then they do it again and they dig a deeper hole and a deeper hole and a deeper hole. That's why I think it's essential to have a conversation with your spouse once a month, because 3 months, 6 months, it can get out of control.
Fast.
And if you look at credit card interest, I don't know what it is. People are afraid to buy houses at 6 or 7% interest, but they're not afraid to charge $20,000, $30,000 on a 27% credit card.
And we can speak upon this because we lived it.
Yeah, in our 20s, not in our 30s, not in our 40s.
When I was in my first gym, I had $55,000 worth of credit card debt when she met me, actually. And I'm literally doing everything in my power just to pay the minimums. They would have never been paid off. And there was a point in time that me and her really didn't spend any money till these things. And then probably, I don't even know, with the new gym opening, probably 4 years after you met me, I ripped up every single credit card and swore to God that I would never. I have an American Express for business. My accountant told me to get it years ago. It's paid off every single month. And these are hard conversations. Like, I've had to come to Amber and been like, in my world, it's cash flow of the gym equipment world.
Buying inventory takes cash.
Buying
in the way you
inventory,
run your
it's
business.
power.
Yeah.
And the problem is, let's just use $1 million for a number. That used to be a very scary number to me. So if I had a line of credit, let's just say, and I tell Amber like, hey, I'm going to go spend $1 million tomorrow. I've got to buy all this inventory. That's a scary thing. But at the end of the day, it's something that I have to do. But she needs to know about it. But she knows there's going to be a return on investment there of a small percentage of profit. Well, that still means that, like, if stuff wasn't selling, I may have to adjust my lifestyle to make sure that I can make these payments on the equipment.
But it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
But don't you think everybody keeps living in the moment, Amber, and keeps spending normal?
They don't worry about the sacrifice.
Right.
They don't sacrifice.
They don't.
They're keeping up with the Joneses, and they keep digging themselves a hole that they're going to bury themselves
Amber,
in.
because we build or let's just say our rich friends, and I'm not talking about anybody, I'm just using the term. Our rich friends go spend $300,000 in their backyard on a swim pool.
That doesn't mean you have to.
Does that mean we need to?
No.
No. But I truly feel like over the past 20 years, so many people have thought, let's say from the outside, about us. Oh my God, they must be in debt up to their eyeballs. They're living way beyond their means. And in reality, what they don't know about us is we've always tried to prioritize. We have been upside down at times in the past, but now we live so in a way that not only are we aligned, but we don't really care what anybody thinks. And we're only doing things that serves us purpose, that make sense, I know as many people's asked us about our new building at our house. Hey, they're probably thinking we're absolutely insane, but there is a reason to the madness.
Right. But I think also we have a very good sense of financial responsibility,
Sure.
the knowledge of finances. And I think where so much insecurity around finances comes from is the lack of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard it. I've probably been in one before, but a husband and wife or couples or whatever can have very unhealthy conversations about finances because they don't understand money. You have to understand money and how it works.
And and we need to talk on it. And we're going to bring him on as a guest in the future. Yeah. But even a couple years ago, us bringing Ron on to help us with certain tax planning and stuff like that.
And I think sometimes the best thing to do is invite somebody else in it because you or I, neither one are a professional.
But as you know, there's a lot of things that taxes change every single
year.
Day. So do we not need help? Me, you don't have the blueprint. No. I've seen you research for hours taxes
and still question it. And I'm like, I was about to say real estate. I don't want to go to the IRS jail. Like, I want to do things smart. I want to know what the tax code says. The tax code is actually meant to benefit you, but who the hell reads that thing? It's confusing. You need to have a tax strategist. You need to have a good accountant, a good wealth advisor, a good investor, investment advisor to look at your full spectrum. And this is just something we learned this past year.
Right.
You cannot have all your eggs in one basket, whether that's one basket of income or one basket of net worth. And they told us you need to have 33% in cash, 33% in real estate, and 33% in your investments. And if you're diversified like that, you're going to be okay. And we were heavy in real estate. We've now swung things and have grown our investment wealth a little bit too.
And thank God we've had really good people along the way, from Rick Fisher to all these people, Evan, all these people who has now helped us over the past 20 years.
But we've seeked it.
Correct.
I think so many people financially put themselves in a hole and don't look up and say, I need help. Don't do that. We've learned all of this by leaning into people that have made more money than us, that are more successful than us. We've asked people like, look, we're wanting to grow X, Y, and Z. Now we're talking about generational stuff.
Well, I'm the worst. I don't like friends. Like, I first of all am big on like not doing money things.
You're very private
with friends, and
you're
I'm
also
very
Greek.
private.
Greek people don't love investments. They don't love the
Yeah.
bank.
Yeah.
It's just the Greek culture,
Yeah.
the bank stole, and it's like, okay, let's keep our money. So I've had to break you of some of those generational things that probably lived in you. Here I came from, like, we're living in a budget.
Yeah.
I was a finance major. I understand investments.
That was not us.
I understand interest. You understand interest as an expense. I understand interest as your money grows.
Sure.
So we've taken our two extreme polar opposites and had hard conversations. My hardest conversation with you is going to you saying, we owe X amount in taxes. And I was like, I got to fix this. We don't have to pay this much in taxes. We need to be smarter about it. Because to me, I was like, well, I'm saving us from going to tax jail because we're paying all these taxes. But here I am giving away my generational wealth to the government and not pouring it back into my business and our life and our kids in the future. So we met with Ron, a tax strategist, a good friend
we
of
didn't
ours.
know.
We didn't know. And he just sat there and he was like, you need to do this differently and this differently and this differently. And it's like, that was a lot of money we were just giving.
But I do also want to say, and I'm so thankful for these people, but like, if anyone wants to know, we'll be glad to send you to our people.
Absolutely.
But it is a cost.
It's a cost.
And most people,
it's an investment.
Let's just say somebody was $20,000.
Right.
And they would say, oh, I can go to TurboTax, or what's the tax places?
It's what do they pay you back is what you should be paying attention to.
So
not what they cost.
Hold on a minute. This guy's going to save you $100,000 at a cost of $20,000 versus the TurboTax is not going to tell you shit.
No.
So which one is a better value? But TurboTax is going to cost me $800.
Cheap's cheap for a reason.
Cheap's cheap for a reason.
When you're talking about money, you need to go where the value is.
Absolutely.
You need to go where the knowledge is.
I think that also comes with time and age.
And maturity, financial maturity, I believe. There's levels to living.
Sure.
We were broken, robbing Peter to pay Paul, in debt, student loans, but we were busting our ass. And to whom much is given, much is to be expected. When you start making good money, you got to be smart with it. One thing you have always said, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And when you are growing your business and growing your personal wealth as a family, you need to be a good steward of your money. You need to tithe. You need to give back to the community. You need to put some money in investments. You need to buy some real estate. You need to keep some money in the bank. But sometimes the worst thing ever is hoarding the money or spending all the money.
What I just tell you on the phone earlier, I've gave 4 checks this week.
Yeah.
For donations, sponsorships, whatever.
And
it seems like every day. So 6 we've gave this week. And then,
but thank God we're able to.
Thank God we're able to. But then sometimes you're like, golly, one calls every day, and we can't give to everyone. And we truly like to give to the things we like to give to.
I think the more scarcity and fear you have about money, the less money is attracted to you.
But what did I say to you on the phone earlier? I was like, well, maybe that's why we've been so blessed lately too.
That's when you have a mindset of abundance.
Right.
And when you give and when you trust God that he's going to provide. And if you're a good steward of your money, I promise you he's going to provide.
I agree.
We're living proof of it. When we've paid off debt, we've invested our money and tithed our money and been responsible for money, the money never is a problem. When you live on purpose and you're pouring into other people, the money's just a byproduct.
I agree.
But then when you have it, you have to be a good steward of it, or it can easily be stripped.
It's Amber will tell you it's now hard for us, I think, to buy certain things.
Yeah.
Because even we could have the money sitting in the bank account, but then we really question, like, do we need it?
Your mindset, and I think this is where we differ sometimes. Your mindset around money is you don't spend money unless you're able to sell whatever it is you're buying and get it back, or unless it's just a great investment. I'll sometimes want to spend money just for the enjoyment of what we're going to get out of something, where you're like, no, we need to keep it as an investment and make it be an Airbnb. I'm like, I just want to buy a lake house for us. And that's where we have to have those conversations. I mean, that's a real life conversation we've had.
The problem is my wife is very high end and she can't just buy the little shack that's
Neither
on the lake
can he.
property.
Don't let him lie to you.
So
he's more bougie than me. Don't let him talk junk.
So the issue is we have to compromise and make it work.
Right. But that's where we have a
Happy medium
relationship
Right.
of like, okay, if we buy a lake house and it's over a certain amount, we're going to Airbnb it 6 weeks during the summer. We're going to enjoy it 6 weeks.
And so basically,
we know that going in.
What we've decided is, and we don't own one,
No.
but if we did,
In God's timing, we will.
We want to have enough that helps us pay the bills, not make money. and have the enjoyment for us.
But that's where I've learned about money from you is you take what it costs and make sure it makes good investment sense. And then even if we get a loan, like you pay it off quick because you see the cost of paying 6 to 7 to 8% interest on a number. And it's not $1 million house. It becomes a $2 million house if it takes you 30 years. And if you look at that amount of money and interest that you would have paid versus if you would have buckled down and sucked it up and paid it off quick, you're paying yourself back. You're investing in yourself. And that's just financial knowledge that you've always thought that way.
Always.
You've helped me think that way. And then we've taken that money we've saved in the interest in paying the bank and then invested it. And I've taught us how to make 12 to 14% this year on our investments.
Well, I've had sleepless
nights
back in the day on 55,000.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine now, you're buying tons of inventory. And if it didn't sell in my business, if I had a line of credit at 10%, 12%.
And it could potentially be diminishing value because it's becoming obsolete.
Right. And let's just say I'm paying every month. I'm blowing interest out the ass.
You're blowing your profit out the door.
Yeah. So then how many people, prime example, I'm on the phone with a gym owner and you just said it earlier. You said it's all what you put in your pocket.
Yeah.
And this is the conversation I have almost weekly. Somebody will call me, and this is not about anybody in particular. This is one from a few years ago. And I didn't know the guy. He was somewhere else. And I said, and he said, Stephen, I heard you're the guy I need to call to. I need you to help me with my gym. Okay, sir, what can I do for you? He's telling me about his location. I said, well, what's your revenue? Last month we done 103,000. I'm like, oh, wow. $1 million club, over $1 million a year.
But that can make somebody's ego feel good.
Well,
but keep going.
So then I said, okay, how many members do you got? Something wasn't adding up with the membership and the revenue. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, dude, it sounds like you're killing it. Like, what's the problem? Because he told me he didn't have money to upgrade the equipment and he thought the equipment was the problem. Hence why he was calling me. And so I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. Okay, what is your profit? And he said, well, right now we're sitting at about 102,000 expense.
Whew.
I'm like, hold on a minute. What's your rent? I'm like, something is not.
People live like that every day.
So I'll tell you. So he had went and bought and I had to get very hard with him. Now understand, guys, I don't know this guy on the phone. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know what he looks like. This is not one of my regular clients. So these are hard conversations, but I'll dig in. I'll say, sir, have you been in the gym lately? Well, I kind of stepped out a few years ago. So at one time he was averaging $8,000 to $12,000 profit a month. That's what he told me. And he started making some bad moves. He went and bought the $100,000 truck, the big house he built, all these things. And he's not pouring back into the business. He said he had months where he's profiting 20 grand, but a gym is very like this. And so I'm like, bro, you should be killing it. How many employees do you got? He had an ass ton of employees. I said, buddy, let me put it to you like this. You can't have, and I'll speak to you how I was speaking to him. You can't have somebody wipe your ass, clean the bathrooms, vacuum the floor. You can't have 10 different, if your gym's not doing it, you need to be the one, or someone needs to take the reins. You've got to get back in. I said, when was your gym doing the best? He said, when I was there. So I said, okay, you got to step your ass back in action and you got a clean house. And so at that point, it was a very hard conversation. That's what I see happens a lot of time with finances. Finances, people get on their high horse. They're making the money. If you're not putting the money back, that money can be gone tomorrow. And just like investments.
But you got to pay attention to it.
Well, everybody wants to make the interest, right? Everybody wants to make the money. But what about the year that it plummets and then they go pull it out?
You don't lose till you sell.
This is a long run game. Marathon, not a sprint. So it's like investments are going to be like this.
Yeah.
You made good money over here. Next month plummet. We could have a financial crisis in the world tomorrow and all of our plummet money. They already say the US dollar is this. Well, if you got multiple revenue streams from, let's say, real estate, a few different businesses, whatever it may.
One thing won't throw you off.
Yeah. If you got one doing bad and 6 doing good, it's the power of the number. Yeah, you're still winning.
So to wrap this up, I think some just healthy things that we've put in place is we communicate about our finances.
Right.
We have full transparency. We have access to each one of our full accounts. We sit down and we have a net worth tracker. If you would like a copy of one, just message me. I'd be more than happy to send it to you. I do that on a monthly basis. I'm the one that handles it. And then I go to Stephen and say, let's talk about this. You need to pay attention to your money. You can't hide from it. I think so many people hide and run and don't talk about it. You need to build a financial team around you, whether it's an accountant, a tax advisor, a financial wealth planner,
Bookkeeper,
a
then that goes to the
strategist,
accountant.
a bookkeeper that helps you grow and maintain your wealth smart as you leverage and grow yourself. There's so many things I could tell you, but the biggest important thing is you can't hide from it. You got to communicate with your spouse. Set yourself up to have 33% of your money in cash, 33% of your money in real estate, 33% of your money in
Just
investments.
diversification.
I'm a huge believer. Multiple streams of income have given us so much peace in life. If one cuts off, we're 100% okay because we have others coming in.
And I want to say this in closing, Amber. For anybody listening to this, reward yourself a couple times a year, one time a year. I've always, people will always talk about us. They'll say something being like, oh, he's Gucci'd out or whatever. I'll hear like these little comments, right? All online, local, whatever. And I always will tell people like, okay, we bought my first pair of shoes, a designer I'm talking about, years ago in New York. Well, those shoes are still a pair of shoes that I could wear today. I don't wear them a lot, but I could. Because when you only wear something once in a blue moon, they last forever, Italian leather. So my point is, don't you think it's big to reward yourself with your money if you're busting your ass? But don't go crazy.
I was going to stop you, but I'll let you finish. Reward yourself after you've paid off debts. Do not go in debt rewarding yourself.
So let's clarify. 100% agree. I definitely think that once your debt is paid off, if you have any credit card debt, you do not buy anything designer till all debts are paid. We had no debt when we bought them shoes. And I'm not talking about your mortgage, maybe your car, but any bullshit debt. You don't go spending $500 on a pair of shoes or glasses or watches or whatever.
That's where you start to put yourself in a financial grave.
Correct.
And you build up a tolerance to having debt. Debt makes us uncomfortable.
I don't like it.
Never keep up with the Joneses. Never dig yourself in a financial grave for external validation.
But
wealth gives you peace. Wealth gives you confidence. Wealth gives you a sense of being where you can start living life without money being the driving force behind every single decision.
No, agree. And then I was just going to say, once you pay off the debts and you're living like that for a while, then go reward yourself with that purse you wanted. And have I ever once complained?
It'll feel better when you make those purchases if there's not a debt associated with it. I know so many people that end up hating a house because it put them in a financial hard place.
Absolutely.
The materialistic things that cost money are never going to make you feel good if it's at the sacrifice of your financial peace.
All right. So if you like this podcast, please like and subscribe to the page. We appreciate you watching. This thing keeps growing. We're trying to give our heartfelt advice to everybody watching. We appreciate you, and we will see you on the next one.